Hey guys, welcome back to part 5 of my step-by-step Starfield Outpost guide series where I'll walk you through how to make the first galactic empire. As we near the completion of our galactic industrial empire, we need to undergo a slight reorganization where we'll dismantle some settlements, establish new ones, and make adjustments to existing production chains that will set us up for success as we enter Tier 3 manufacturing. Let's get into it. If you remember from part 1 of this series, the reason why we wanted many of our outposts clustered in the same system was to reduce the number of outposts that needed helium-3 to transport resources across our fledgling empire. Now that we have access to more cargo links, more outposts, the ability to create outposts in hazardous environments, and higher tier extractors, this is no longer an issue. I have been telling you since part 2 of this series that in part 5 we'll be undergoing major restructuring and upgrading, and while that's still the plan, it's going to be on a much smaller scale. However, it's still a lot of work. I know because I run through each video myself as if I were a viewer to verify the quality and the user experience myself. Dismantling your production chains and rebuilding them is not a fun experience. So, that being the case, I'll give you the tools and the information and let you decide if you want to spend the time and resources for a full Tier 1 to Tier 2 restructure now, or wait until after part 7 and leapfrog from Tier 1 to Tier 3 buildings and machines. With that said, this is the agenda for part 5, starting with the necessary steps. Step 1, we will dismantle 5 outposts and establish 2 new ones. Step 2, we will build new cargo links and fix our cargo link and supply chain logistics that will be crippled when we dismantle the 5 outposts in Step 1. Step 3, we will then activate the new trade routes. This is the last necessary step required to advance to part 6. Step 4, we will upgrade our production chains to use Tier 2 machines that improve resource output and overall supply chain functionality. This step is not necessary, but I do highly recommend at least upgrading your helium-3 extractors, especially if you could not achieve the necessary production to fuel all your inter-system cargo links in part 4 of the series. You will need to have completed all research projects associated with Rank 1 Outpost Engineering to complete this part. For this step, we're going to be consolidating the extraction and production of resources of the 5 outposts we're dismantling. It might be a bit painful, if not annoying, to dismantle outposts, but this is a necessary step to reduce the number of outposts we're currently using and restructure our outposts so that we have enough capacity for Tier 3 manufacturing. So dismantle these outposts: Beta Array 2A, Beta Array 3, Jaffa 5A, Shoza 3, and Zeta Ophiuchi 3A. Then, on Eridani 4B, find an outpost location that has europium and neodymium. Aluminum is not necessary for this outpost. The neodymium here will replace the neodymium from Beta Array 2A. Europium will be used in part 6, so extraction is not yet necessary. If you don't intend on upgrading resources until later, then set up neodymium extraction as we did all the times before. This includes building extractors, storage containers, power generators, and then linking them together. Otherwise, you can just establish the outpost and hold construction until Step 4. Regardless of what you choose to do build a Tier 2 compound fabricator that will produce supercooled magnets. This will replace the supercooled magnets that were being manufactured on Beta Array 2A. To the right of the Beta Array and Jaffa system, clustered among a few other systems, is a Khayyam system. On Khayyam 6E, find an outpost location that has copper, ionic liquids, and tetrafluorides. The ionic liquids here will replace the ionic liquids from Beta Array 3, and the tetrafluorides will replace the tetrafluorides from Jaffa 5A. Again, if you don't intend on upgrading resources output until later, then set up ionic liquid and tetrafluoride extraction as we did all the times before. Otherwise, you can just establish the outpost and hold construction until Step 4. Regardless of what you choose to do build a Tier 1 fabricator that will produce isotopic coolants. This will replace the isotopic coolants that were being manufactured on Jaffa 5A. Additionally, in order to replace the copper supply from Jaffa 5A, on Eridani 2, set up copper extraction now, or with Tier 2 extractors in Step 4. I realize that this might seem like a lot of change and hard work being destroyed, but I promise you it is necessary. You might be asking, Why did we have to dismantle some of our oldest outposts? And why did we have to make them in the first place if we're just going to be replacing them? There are a few reasons. The first being that this step is necessary because we need to reduce the number of outposts so that we have enough capacity for Tier 3 manufacturing. The second reason, this is only possible now due to access to higher tier extractors that we didn't have before, the ability to create outposts on planets that we couldn't before, and more cargo link capacity. And thirdly, we also needed to establish those outposts to manufacture and stockpile the necessary resources that allow us to smoothly transition to Tier 2 and Tier 3 manufacturing. Because we made some significant changes, we need to fix our cargo link logistics. This will be on a much smaller scale than Part 4. Starting on Beta Array 1, change the normal cargo link that imported Helium-3 into an inter-system cargo link. Use the imported Helium-3 to fuel a new inter-system cargo link. On Eridani 2, build an inter-system cargo link that exports copper. Use the imported Helium-3 to fuel this new inter-system cargo link. On Eridani 4b, build an inter-system cargo link that exports neodymium. Build a normal cargo link importing Helium-3, then build an inter-system cargo link that imports isocentered magnets, and build an inter-system cargo link importing isotopic coolants. Use the imported Helium-3 to fuel the new inter-system cargo links. On Eridani 4c, build 2 normal cargo links that will both export Helium-3. On Jaffa 4a, change the normal cargo link that imports copper into an inter-system cargo link. Use the Helium-3 extracted here to fuel a new inter-system cargo link. On Kayam 6e, build an inter-system cargo link that exports ionic liquids. Then build an inter-system cargo link that will export isotopic coolants. And build an inter-system cargo link that imports Helium-3. Use the imported Helium-3 to fuel the new inter-system cargo links. On Tau Ceti 1, build 4 inter-system cargo links that will all export Helium-3. Use the Helium-3 extracted here to fuel the new inter-system cargo links. On Zeta Ophiuchi 1, change the normal cargo link that imported Helium-3 into an inter-system cargo link. Use the imported Helium-3 to fuel this new inter-system cargo link. And finally, on Zeta Ophiuchi 6a, change the normal cargo link that imported Helium-3 into an inter-system cargo link. Use the imported Helium-3 to fuel this new inter-system cargo link. Here are the resources you'll need to complete this step. This list only includes resources for the cargo links and does not include resources for the storage containers. Focusing on cargo links and trade routes that import resources, let's start on Beta Array 1. Connect the cargo link importing Helium-3 from Tau Ceti 1. Tau Ceti 1 will be fueling all the inter-system cargo links for the Tau Ceti system, the Beta Array system, the Zeta Ophiuchi system, and the Kayam system. On Eridani 2, connect the inter-system cargo link importing ionic liquids from Kayam 6e. On Eridani 4b, connect the normal cargo link importing Helium-3 from Eridani 4c. Then connect the inter-system cargo link importing isocentered magnets from Jaffa 2a. Then connect the inter-system cargo link importing isotopic coolants from Kayam 6e. On Jaffa 2a, connect the normal cargo link importing Helium-3 from Jaffa 4a. On Jaffa 4a, connect the inter-system cargo link importing copper from Eridani 2. On Zeta Ophiuchi 1, connect the inter-system cargo link importing Helium-3 from Tau Ceti 1. On Zeta Ophiuchi 6a, connect the inter-system cargo link importing Helium-3 from Tau Ceti 1. Then connect the inter-system cargo link importing neodymium from Eridani 4b. On Kayam 6e, connect the inter-system cargo link importing Helium-3 from Tau Ceti 1. You should now have about 5 or 6 available outpost capacity. In Part 6, we will be settling on 9 new planets, so you will need rank 4 planetary habitation. These planets will be high level planets, so be ready for difficult fights if you're under leveled. If you want to know how to upgrade your outpost to tier 2 resource production chains, stay tuned. But if you don't, thank you for watching and I'll see you guys in Part 6. Before we begin, I very quickly want to warn you that this will take a lot of resources. So here's what I recommend. Go to your outpost and upgrade and or add more storage containers, especially for aluminum, beryllium, copper, and tungsten. Also, upgrade and or add storage containers for your manufactured resources. They're much heavier than raw resources, so each storage container holds significantly fewer quantities. So far, we've only been using 5 tier 1 extractors per resource, which was fine for producing tier 1 manufactured resources, but now with tier 2 manufacturing and going into tier 3, we should upgrade our extractors. It isn't strictly necessary to increase resource output, but if you don't, you might see inactive production chains due to lack of resources. Those production chains should slowly come to life as other production chains fill up their storage containers and then become inactive themselves. So, if you want to achieve maximum resource output optimization to match the speed at which resources will be consumed to manufacture other resources, sorry to say, but this is pretty much impossible using just extractors. For example, we will need 29 tier 2 commercial aluminum extractors in order to achieve aluminum extraction optimization. This likely isn't possible for most of you, me included. Our supply of aluminum is only from Jaffa 4A, and my resource deposit can only support a fraction of what is necessary for full optimization. However, unlike helium-3, resources used in manufacturing are not continuously consumed, so optimization is not necessary. But I will tell you how many extractors you need if you want to achieve optimization, but you can build as many or as few as you want. Unlike every other resource production chain, helium-3 optimization is necessary. So if you did not have enough space for all the tier 1 helium-3 extractors in Part 4, hopefully with tier 2 commercial helium-3 extractors that are 2.5 times more efficient, you should now achieve the required production per minute. So to begin, let's upgrade our helium-3 extractors, starting in the Tau Ceti system. On Tau Ceti 1, dismantle your existing helium-3 extractors and build up to 31 tier 2 helium-3 extractors, or as many as you can. If you do not have enough space for 31 helium-3 extractors, use the workarounds mentioned in Part 4 to achieve the necessary production per minute. Don't forget to build your power generators. In the document linked in the description is a list of what method is most efficient for each outpost, either wind or solar. For all planets using wind turbines, I will be replacing all tier 1 wind turbines with tier 2 advanced wind turbines now that we have them unlocked. It isn't necessary to replace the tier 1 wind turbines that are already built, but the advanced wind turbines are cooler, and if that isn't reason enough, then I don't know what is. On Eridani 4C, replace your helium-3 extractors with 14 commercial helium-3 extractors. And on Jaffa 4A, replace your helium-3 extractors with 9 commercial helium-3 extractors. Yes, we are decreasing from 24 helium-3 extractors down to 9. Then to upgrade other resource production chains going system by system, left to right, let's begin with the Tau Ceti system again. On Tau Ceti 2, you don't actually have to do anything as everything is already optimized. However, I will be upgrading all buildings even if it isn't necessary, because why not? So, if you do want to follow along, dismantle your existing animal husbandry facilities producing solvents and water vapor extractors. 5 tier 2 animal husbandry facilities and 3 tier 2 commercial water vapor extractors are needed for optimization. To remind you, you do not need to build for full optimization. Your production chains will operate even at a resource output deficit. By reducing the number of water vapor extractors and animal husbandry facilities, we are now using less power than before. So if you want, you can delete the extra solar panels, but you don't have to as there isn't any negative side effect of having extra power. On Eridani 2, 10 commercial copper extractors, 6 commercial greenhouses producing membranes, and 4 commercial water vapor extractors are needed for full optimization. On Eridani 3, 11 commercial vanadium extractors are needed for full optimization. On Eridani 4B, 15 commercial neodymium extractors are needed for full optimization. On Beta Marais 1, 18 commercial animal husbandry facilities producing lubricants and 8 commercial water extractors are needed for full optimization. However, it's likely you won't be able to build more than 10 animal husbandry facilities due to build limitations. Each commercial animal husbandry facility producing lubricants requires 0.4 water extractors, so only build as many as you need. For example, I'm only going to build 8 animal husbandry facilities, so I need 3.2 water extractors, but rounded up to 4. Again, this is okay as you don't need full optimization. And although it's not necessary, I will also upgrade the 2 greenhouses producing cosmetics to commercial greenhouses. This will require 2 additional commercial water extractors. On Jaffa 1A, 9 commercial iron extractors are needed for full optimization. Alkanes are not needed anymore as we are no longer producing monopropellants, so 5 commercial alkane extractors should be more than fine. Then build another Tier 1 fabricator that will produce mag pressure tanks. You should now have 2 Tier 1 fabricators producing mag pressure tanks. On Jaffa 2A, 11 commercial cobalt extractors and 13 commercial nickel extractors are needed for full optimization. Then build a Tier 1 fabricator that produces isocentered magnets. You should now have 2 Tier 1 fabricators producing isocentered magnets. On Jaffa 4A, 29 commercial aluminum extractors and 4 commercial beryllium extractors are needed for full optimization. Then build a Tier 1 fabricator that produces reactive gauges. You should now have 2 Tier 1 fabricators producing reactive gauges. On Jaffa 7B, 9 commercial tungsten extractors are needed for full optimization. I will also upgrade the 5 titanium extractors to commercial extractors. These are not used in any manufacturing, so it isn't necessary to upgrade, but why not? On Zeta Ophiuchi 1, 11 commercial silver extractors, 8 commercial tantalum extractors, 15 commercial greenhouses producing fibers, and 15 commercial water vapor extractors are needed for full optimization. Fibers are used as ingredients for solvents and lubricants, so the number of greenhouses you actually need really depends. Each commercial animal husbandry facility producing solvents and lubricants needs 0.4 commercial greenhouses producing fibers each. For example, I have 5 commercial animal husbandry facilities producing solvents on Tau Ceti 2, and 8 producing lubricants on Beta Marais 1. So I only need 5.2 commercial greenhouses producing fibers, rounding down to 5. Each commercial greenhouse producing fibers needs 1 commercial water vapor extractor, so that's 5 commercial water vapor extractors in total. I will also upgrade the 2 greenhouses producing sealants to commercial greenhouses. That will require 2 additional commercial water vapor extractors, for a total of 7. On Zeta Ophiuchi 6A, 18 commercial antimony extractors, 8 commercial copper extractors, and 11 commercial gold extractors are needed for full optimization. I will also upgrade the 5 fluorine extractors to commercial extractors. Then build a Tier 1 fabricator that will produce 0 wire. You should now have 2 Tier 1 fabricators producing 0 wire. And lastly, on Cayam 6E, 27 commercial ionic liquid extractors and 20 tetrafluoride extractors are needed for full optimization. Then build another fabricator that produces isotopic coolants. You should now have 2 fabricators producing isotopic coolants. Here are roughly the maximum resources you'll need to complete this step. This may not be exact depending on what you do choose to upgrade or build. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed the content, please consider liking the video. As a reminder, you will need rank 4 planetary habitation for part 6 of this series. We are rapidly approaching the end of the series, and I want to take a moment to say how much I appreciate each and every one of you for following along thus far. I know this is a lot of work, probably way more than you ever imagined, but I thank you for spending your valuable time watching my content. With that said, thank you all again, and I will see you guys in part 6. Bye bye now!